సార్ రికార్డింగ్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది.
Okay, sir. Good morning to all. This is Dr. B. Prasad Babu, Deputy Director, IGNOU Regional Center, Vijayawada. Already we have sent the counseling schedule for second year. Yesterday we have sent email to all the learners of SRR and CVR Government Degree College, MAPC program. And already we informed that through Google Meet also. Link also we have sent that yesterday. And those who are not having the links are not opening through email. Already we have given the schedule itself. There are links are there. You can click on those links, or otherwise those links just you can forward to your WhatsApp group, and you can join through WhatsApp also. So this is the thing. And already examination schedule for December 2024 is given by the university. The link is open. Already we have sent SMS to all the learners to pay the examination fee on or before 15th October is the last date to pay the examination fee. And submission of assignment is last date for submission of assignment is September 30th. If university extends, university will inform you for the extension of the date. As of now, September 30th is the last date to submit our assignment. Regarding internship, so you have to undergo for the internship for 45 days or 240 hours. Total 240 hours you have to work with the psychiatry hospital or counseling center or schools or colleges or rehabilitation centers. So as per our program guide, internship guide, they have given the guidelines. Based on that, you have to undergo for the internship. For that, we have invited Professor T.D. Vimla Madam to give the information about the internship and MPCE-046 positive psychology. Today we have 4 hours time. So first 1 hour or 45 minutes, Madam will explain about the internship, how to do internship, where you have to do, how to collect the information from the patient or client, and how to approach with the psychologist or psychiatrist where you are placed for the internship. And already formats for collecting the client information in our IGNOU internship booklet itself. It is a format for clinical psychology, separate format is there. Counseling psychology, separate format is there. You can take those formats and type it neatly and make it 10 copies of the formats, and you have to write the 10 case studies wherever you placed for the internship. So you have to write 10 case studies. So each case study you have to separately type it, and handwritten format is typed, but information whatever you are collecting, for that you have to write in handwriting only. So typed formats we are not accepting for the Viva OC. So you have to submit formats in writing. So format should be in English and typed, and information collection, suppose name of the candidate, that should be a typed. So Prasad Babu, that should be in writing. Age of the client, that should be English and typed, and 43 years in your handwriting. Like that you have to, there is a format, you neatly type it the format and make it 10 copies. Each format you can write your own handwriting, client information, and submit to the regional center. In that you have to take signatures of the 2 persons. One is the psychiatrist or clinical psychologist or psychologist where you placed for the internship. That is agency supervisor. We call it as a agency supervisor. In our internship booklet, there is information agency supervisor format. Agency supervisor, after completion of 240 hours or 30 days of internship, they will sign on the agency supervisor format, and they will give the marks for 30 marks. They give the, out of 30, whatever marks you got based on your performance, attendance, and sincerity, discipline. Based on that, they give the, out of 30, some 25, 26 or 28, 29 like that. And another supervisor, academic counselor. One academic counselor we will attach. So academic counselor also sign on the academic counselor format and all your case studies. He will also assess your 10 case studies and give the 30 marks. Out of 30 marks, he will give whatever he feels, 25 or 26 or 28 or 30 out of 30. So he will also give the 30 marks. So agency supervisor will assess the 30 marks, and academic council also will assess the 30 marks. And after that 40 marks, external Vijayawada examination will be held at Regional Center, Vijayawada. So after the theory examinations, we will conduct along with practical examination. First day practical examination, second day Vijayawada, or first day internship or second day practical. So we will inform the schedule. So this is the procedure. And before going to the psychiatrist or psychologist or rehabilitation center, there is a reference letter in your booklet. So take that reference letter and get signature from regional center. I will sign on that letter, reference letter. You take that letter and go to the concerned hospital. They will permit you to do 30 days internship. So first you go and ask the concerned people. If they agree, I will issue the letter. You bring that letter and I will sign and give it the reference letter. These are the information from my side. So remaining thing, how to collect the information, what you have to do during the internship and all those information, madam will explain now. So up to 11 or 11:15, madam will explain. After that, positive psychology class will begin. Thank you. Madam, now you can start. So if you have any doubts or clarification, last 1 o'clock or 1:30, I will again join, and during that time you can ask your queries. I will clarify, because if you ask questions, our class will be dismissed. So last half an hour, 1 hour, madam will inform me whether madam class is completed. Then we'll ask for your queries. We will clarify. In between also we take for 10 to 15 minutes break, madam. So now 10 o'clock, no, you can by 12 or 11:45 you can take a 15 minutes break. Okay, thank you. Madam,
Mic on చేయండి
mic
కదా.
on చేయండి madam, mic on.
Good morning. Okay.
Okay.
Audible?
Audible.
Yes, yes. So good morning, Dr. Prasad Babu, and all other participants who joined for this online course. Who joined for this session. And at the outset, I want to tell you what exactly you have to do for internship, because a lot of things are happening while we are addressing the Viva. People are not doing exactly what they are supposed to do, and they are doing, and they are counseling even us. That is what is happening in the Viva. So hence, we want to make you clear what you have to do, starting with the selection of this center, where this is only the training you are going to have in this internship program. So you should have a on-hand training regarding counseling, regarding clinical psychology students, exactly what is happening, practical experience of the cases which you are going to handle later on. So in this, the very first activity of this is you have to select a center. For clinical psychology people who has opted for clinical psychology, you can choose a psychiatric psychiatric ward of the general hospital, government hospitals. Most of the government hospitals are having psychiatry wards. You can go there and get trained with the permission of the RCI, as Prasad Babu has given already. You have to take a letter from the regional center and you have to approach the center. Clinical psychology people can go to a psychiatric center or private psychiatric hospitals or government hospitals, wherever, or you can attend our NGO homes where the psychiatric treatment is being given. You can go anywhere. Mostly clinical psychology people will go to psychiatric clinics or general government hospital where the psychiatric wards are there. For this internship, you have to assure that Among the 10 case studies, the agency supervisor, that is the institution head, may he has to permit you to take case studies by yourself. That is the practical experience. Among the 10, at least 2 case studies you have to take yourself. So at the outset, you have to take the permission prior to that. The main activity of internship is doing case history, collecting case history. If it is a clinical psychology, you have to go for mental status examination, and third thing is interview, and the fourth thing is your observations regarding the case, and the fifth thing is what are the interventions or what are the treatment which was given, and what are your reflections on that. So these are the important things you have to go through while attending a case. So you have to, while choosing the institution, you have to ask them to give, at least give him an opportunity to take case studies, because most of the psychiatry organizations, they don't allow you to take case studies. They will give whatever is existing with them. So at least ask them to take even if it is a mild case, you can take the case study by yourself, so that you can know how to take a case study and mental status examination. At least for 2, do it directly. So other things you observe and you have to note down the cases. So this is the first thing you have to, and whenever there is a doubt, that institutional supervisor will help you to clarify your doubts and take the case studies. So altogether, you have to take 10 case studies. You note down while taking the case studies, you have to take these 5 points, note down these 5 points. After selecting an institution, if it is a counseling psychology, you can go for old age homes, NGO homes, mental retarded institutions, disability, any disability institution, or schools where there is a proper psychologist or counselor will be there. In some of the private schools, they are having a counselor and a psychologist, where the cases are being handled by this counselor in the school. So you can choose one among this, any of the things you can choose. Disability, there are so many disability centers are there, like autistic centers are there, mental retardation centers are there, and there are orphanages are there, old age homes are there, educational institutions where there is a qualified psychologist should be there. So these are the areas where you can go, you can take permission. So on the whole, this agency supervisor will be either a psychiatrist or a counselor with a psychology qualification. A counselor with a psychology qualification. These are the 2 important things. Either a psychiatrist, clinical psychologist also is available in some of the psychiatry homes. Psychologist, clinical psychologist, or a counselor who is having a qualification of MS psychology and counseling. Okay, in many of the schools, the teachers act as counselors, but that is not the thing which we want, a professional counselor. Okay, choose an institution which is having all these things. One counselor is enough. You can and take the prior permission of taking at least 2 cases by yourself. Case histories or mental status examination by yourself. Other things you can observe and you can note down whatever is going on in the institution. Whatever is going on in the institution, but directly you should have an experience of at least 2 case studies. Okay. So this is the important thing. On the whole, how you have to write this internship is, first of all, you have to write about the organization where you are, please note down, the organization where you are taking this internship, regarding that organization, the components, what are the services they are providing, who are there, all these things. One para or one thing about this organization. Then take the case study. While taking a case study, the important thing is, first of all, you have to write down the case history. The format is there in the internship books. You take 10 formats. You can take the xerox of 10 formats. Whatever is given in the format, you have to take everything into account and take 10 forms. Take 10 forms of this and and go to a institution. So where you have to write about the case history, number one. Number two, if it is a clinical psychologist, you have to write mental status examination. And the third thing, after getting the case history, you have to conduct an interview with the client. With the client, you have with the client, you have to conduct an interview. So if you are not having an opportunity to talk to the client, then you observe the interview conducted by the professionals, clinical psychologist or psychiatrist, and write down how the interview was conducted. Interview should also be included in the format. So, case history, mental status examination, your interview, and finally, what are the interventions that were given by the organization? The organization suggests something, sometimes drugs, sometimes some intervention, sometimes yoga, sometimes relaxation techniques, all these things. So, what are the suggestions given by the institution? And then fifth point is about your reflections about the case. Your reflections about the case. And if possible, you take 10 case studies of different nature. 10 case studies with different disorders or different nature. Not the same type of anxiety cases or phobia cases or academic problem cases like that. 10 different problems you can take. If it is being diagnosed by the psychiatrist as a bipolar disorder, depression, or whatever is that, you just note down whatever is given by the psychiatrist there. What are the diagnosis or treatment which was given by the psychiatrist? Medicines. You need not write the names of the medicine. Might have prescribed some drugs. You can write drugs. And what is your reflection? What is the counseling side you can do for that? That is important. And finally, in Viva, what we are going to ask you is regarding the characteristics of the particular disorder. Suppose if you have written a case study on anxiety, we will ask you about the characteristics, types of anxiety, whatever is that. If it is on bipolar disorder, I will ask you regarding the characteristics of a bipolar disorder. Like that, whatever case you are taking, be thorough with the characteristics of the particular disorder, right? And the types which are existing in that. So this is for academic purpose. You should have a knowledge purpose. So without knowledge, these skills won't help you. So these are the things how you have to collect the 10 case studies. Okay, you write down what you have to. Again, I am telling you, these are the 6 things we are expecting from a case. First of all, this institution will give an opportunity for you at least to do 2 case studies by yourself. That is important. Second, you have to submit us the report, the first day report. That means regarding the institution, you have to write a report and you have to study, you have to conduct 10 case studies, and finally you have to give the total the report of the cases what you have done at the end, report of your visits, report of your experience in the institution at the end, your experience of the institution at the end, beginning regarding the institution, in between all the 10 cases, and at the end you have to write your experience of the institution. Okay, so these are the 3 parts you have to take it. 3 parts you have to take. First part, introduction about the institution, in between 10 case studies, and finally your experience with the institution and your visits, regarding their cooperation and all the things you have to write. So introduction should be there, a conclusion should be there for your internship. In between, there should be 10 case studies. In the case studies, again, I am telling you, you should have a case history, mental status examination, interview, and the treatment or interventions given by the institution, and finally your reflections on the case. And during Viva, we will ask you about the characteristics of the particular case. Okay. So on the whole, you have to give entire 10 case studies with and as it is being given by Dr. Prasad Babu, you have to get it signed by your agency supervisor. That is the institutional head, who is a who should be a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist or a psychologist or a counselor with psychology qualification. And they have to assess and give you the marks. And your visits are you marks per 30. And you have to get it signed. And it should also be attached in your internship book. Institutional marks given by the your agency supervisor should also be attached in the internship. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can rise and tell me. You can ask me regarding internship. Right? Anybody having? Yes?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. All 10 cases needs to be signed by both agency supervisor as well as academic supervisor.
No. Not
Okay.
all cases. There is a format in the beginning. The beginning format they have to sign.
Okay.
Okay. The
Yes.
counselor will also sign only in the format given in the beginning, not for each case study. They don't sign.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. So these are the things which you have to keep it in your mind while doing, and try to get more information and more practical experience you will get by attending this internship program. Okay. In Viva, we will ask you about the characteristics of the specific disorders. And please don't write all anxiety disorder, all anxiety cases are. Try to look at different cases. So because it is a 240 hours internship program, so you will try to select the cases which are of different in nature, not all of the same cases, same cases. Okay. I think this is clear about internship. So if you have any doubts, tell me, and then we will go to the next thing about positive psychology. We'll start our positive psychology course. And I think you have to collect the date internship, that's all. And you have to make a spiral binding of that, in which the first paper should be, before going to the institution, you have to take a letter from the regional center, as you are the student of IGNOU, and you are doing this as a partial completion of your course. Okay. The format is there in your books only. So that you have to go to the institution, ask them at least give you the opportunity of at least doing 2 cases, so that you will have the practical skills you will develop. You can do it at the end. You observe so many things and you can do 2 case studies by yourself. Okay. Any doubts regarding this? You can choose a mental retarded institution. I think in Vijayawada, there are all the places there are there. NGO organizations are there, where the counselor should be there. AIDS counseling is there in majority of the AIDS counseling centers are there. And what I can say is that in de-addiction centers are there. So where if you go to the specific thing, you will get only one type of cases, similar cases. If you go to a psychiatrist, you will get different types of cases. You go to a school, you will get different types of cases. You go to an old age home, you will get different type of cases. So you choose a institution, and feasibility and approachability is also very, very important. Okay. So I think you are clear about the internship. So anybody is having any doubts, you can will clarify. Okay. So okay, then we will go to this positive psychology. Yes, shall we go to the positive psychology paper? You're having all of you clinical psychology people as well as counseling psychology, all are having this positive psychology paper. This is a new approach to psychology and very popular and very effective nowadays. Majority of the counselors, majority of them are now turning towards this positive psychology, let me say how it is started. There are 5 units in this. 5 units. The first unit is about the introduction of positive psychology. The second unit comprises about the positive psychology and emotional states processing in positive psychology. How emotional states are being processed in positive psychology. And third state is how cognitive states are being processed in positive psychology. One is emotional state. Second unit is about emotional state processing. Third unit is about cognitive states processing. And fourth unit is about the principles. Application of positive psychology principles in schools, in individual level, in schools, at workplace, in the community, in old age homes, whatever is that, how these principles are being used, applications of positive psychology in different institutions. And the fifth unit comprises of what are the interventions what you are using in positive psychology. The interventions in positive psychology is different from the interventions of in other cognitive psychology or other psychology. Uh, so, either other psychology concepts. So, these are the 5 things what we are going to cover now. So, the first part of this is about the introduction of positive psychology, the emergence of positive psychology, and this relation with Indian psychology, and how it is being treated, and what are the basic concepts of this positive psychology. So let me say that this is the positive psychology is till now all the psychology whatever we are studying, that is whether it is a cognitive psychology, psychoanalytical approach, or behavioristic psychology, cognitive, whatever is the psychology, we are being focused and research is being conducted on the disorders and coming out of those problems related to human existing, how to come out of depression, how to come out of anxiety, how to come out of compulsions, how like that. All this psychology is being focused for treatment, for counseling, for psychotherapies coming out of those psychological problems. So we can say that the positive psychology is focused other than prevention. Of course, it also has interventions and it also focused on preventive methods, therapeutic methods. It also focused on therapeutic methods. Mostly it focused on prevention. Through positivity, how we can live human, it focused on human well-being and human happiness. Human well-being and emphasis is on human well-being and human happiness through this approach, through positive approach. Well-being and happiness, these two are the concepts of basically about positive psychology. So the emphasis is on 2 things, positive psychology. One is happiness, second thing is well-being. Second thing is, so in this concept, I'm going through this entire paper briefly. There are some more due of this positive psychology. And the first, you can say that the important person who has who played a major role in the emergence of positive psychology is Seligman. As the proponent, we cannot say that he is the first person who started these concepts of positive psychology, and he is a professor in Pennsylvania, psychology professor of Pennsylvania. So earlier he focused research on 2 things. All of us might be knowing about that. He focused on 2 things. One is learned helplessness and learned optimism. What he said is, so in other psychologists, what we say, helplessness is the main negative character, personality, or whatever is that, which are responsible for suicide, which are responsible for depression, which are responsible for anxiety and other things. He said, Seligman said, learned helplessness. It is not innate. You didn't get it innately, helplessness as a character, as a personality trait. It is being learned in the environment. How do you learn in the environment? Through your experiences or through your observations or whatever is that. Helplessness is a learned factor, learned trait. People used to say, what is helplessness? Nobody to help me. No, I am in a crisis condition and nobody help me. So if helplessness, if I feel helplessness, I will become pessimist. Because nobody is for me and nobody to help me, what is the last source? The helplessness is leading to suicides. Nobody to help me to come out of this problem. So this factor, this personality trait is a learned. So all of you should understand, if any learned personality trait can be unlearned through some interventions or through some procedures. Hence earlier he focused on two things. One is learned helplessness and optimism is also learned. So future will be good. This is an optimistic personality. This is also a learned process, learned personality trait. What he said these two are learned personality traits. He has given a lot of information about these two traits earlier before the emergence of this positive psychology by Seligman. So these are I'm introducing Seligman. So these are the two concepts which were given by Seligman earlier before the emergence of positive psychology. In 2000, the positive psychology, a structured, holistic positive psychology as a branch of psychology, the emergence of positive psychology as a branch of psychology occurred in 2000. In 2000, so very, very young science, lot of research and development is needed in this for this. So he said he has started positive psychology emphasizing happiness and well-being. He emphasized only happiness and he did a lot of research on happiness and well-being, how to develop happiness, how to what are the things what you have to do, you have to develop your well-being. So these are the things on which he focused much, Seligman. During the same period, Paul Wong is another Canadian psychologist. Paul Wong is another Canadian psychologist who also focused on, who also emphasized about happiness. But he said there is a slight difference in his approach. He said he has also included the importance of pain and suffering and sorrow in human existence and the relevance to happiness and well-being. He has given three more. Without pain, without suffering, and without sorrow, the happiness or well-being is not meaningful. If you don't talk about all these things, talking about only happiness and well-being is meaningless, what he thought. So the Wong said that talking only about happiness and well-being as Seligman is not complete. We have to add pain, sorrow, and suffering also in the study of happiness and well-being. That is the contribution of Wong. So in 2011, he proposed this. Wong proposed this after Seligman, who started in 2000. A lot of research and regarding this positive psychology was going on during those periods. And later in 2011, he said that positive psychology should, Wong, a Canadian psychologist, says that positive psychology should without talking about pain, suffering, and sorrow. Talking only about well-being and happiness is not complete. Hence, they included this too. Suppose if you go to Indian psychology, Indian psychologist, so here Indian psychologists also thought happiness and well-being with reference to sorrow and pain only. So even Indian psychology also accept the Wong's proposal for happiness and well-being. So, what this is existential psychology. Psychology says that flourishing, we cannot flourish without suffering. We cannot flourish. But Seligman said, by building strengths and virtues, you can, the individuals or communities can develop. So these are the two ways, two versions, two ways of positive psychology development took place. One is Wong's way, including suffering and sorrow and pain. And other thing is only talking about happiness and well-being, strengths, virtues, and all the positive aspects, positive emotions, and all the positive aspects. So this has, after getting this, after development of this positive psychology, the entire world is looking for this, and even the UNO has started measuring happiness. So all the countries are developing. What about the happiness of people? They started measuring happiness, and most of you might be knowing about that. The UNO is celebrating, is observing, I don't say it's celebrating, observing International Happiness Day on every March 20th. March 20th of every year, the International Happiness Day is being observed throughout the world. And the main purpose of this day was aware the people that happiness is also important for our physical health, psychological health, and social health. And consciously think about happiness. It won't come automatically. You have to think about happiness so that it enhances our physical health, psychological health, and also social health. So the main purpose of this International Happiness Day was to aware the people regarding the importance of well-being, happiness, regarding the importance of well-being. So in this context, this is a practical thing. What you might be knowing about the UNO has developed a happiness index, gross national happiness index. They assess different nations, different countries regarding which country is the happiest country to live on. So they have given the gross national happiness index. So in this, they included so many psychological well-being products. Basically, 9 products they included. One is regarding the health. What is the health conditions of the people in that nation? What is the educational level? And what are the, how they are using their time usage of time, and cultural diversity, and resilience, and good governance. Governance is good, we will be more happy. Our community vitality, and they have under diversity and resilience, and living conditions. Like that, they identified 9 primary dimensions, and again in 9 domains, with these 9 domains, they added 33 indicators. 33 indicators of happiness of a nation. It is not individual, it is National Happiness Index. You might be knowing about that. India is getting nearly 146, sometimes 146 to 150 countries are taking part in this happiness index. India's rank is always, it is 138 or 139 during last 2-3 years, 138, 139. People are not, and usually some, I think, some of the European countries, small countries got higher ranks. I didn't remember the country who got the higher, first rank one. So we are in the 138 to 139 rank among the 150. So you have to aware the people regarding the importance of happiness, because happiness gives us physical health, psychological health, well-being, and prosperity. So you have to aware the people, because people think that happiness comes on its own. It won't come. Even for that, we have to try for that. So this is uh, about the importance of happiness day at present. How these lines we are thinking about that, and then coming to the how this positive psychology is connected. So positive psychology is connected to UNO. Yeah, the concept of positive psychology was taken by UNO, and they are measuring the gross national happiness index. Coming to this, what is the relationship of positive psychology with other psychology branches? It is a branch of psychology. So it is having related with health psychology. It is related with the clinical psychology. It is related to developmental psychology, because if you develop virtues during childhood, and the personality, and the social psychology, and religion and also many, almost all branches of psychology, this positive psychology is being related. You can write down what that particular, how it is related to various branches. Hence, positive psychology is related to all the branches of psychology almost. So, the main objective of positive psychology is, till now we are all working on repairing the health, repairing the well-being. We have to, instead of repairing, we have to focus on building strengths. This is the main objective. We have to focus on building strengths. If we build strengths, automatically this repairing session will come down. That means you have to build strengths. This is one way of preventing, and the strengths itself will help to protect us from pain and sorrow. The strength, development of strengths, instead of giving solutions to this, are reducing our anxiety. If you build strength, anxiety automatically reduces. So this is the basic concept of positive psychology. You have to reduce repairing work and focus more on building strengths. So this is the basic application of positive psychology. So then coming to the research aspect. So how this research methods and assessment of positive psychology takes place. Almost it followed all the research methods, and I think you have completed one paper on research methodology too. But this positive psychology also covered all the followed the research methods which are being given in psychology. And starting with there, we are having descriptive research we are doing. Here also, we will do descriptive research. In positive psychology also, we do exploratory research. We do correlational research. We do predictive research, prediction, and also we'll do pure research. All this research method will do qualitative research as well as quantitative research. I'm not explaining all these methods because you have covered all this in your first year research methodology paper. Descriptive research, descriptive research, exploratory research, correlational research, pure research, basic research, and applied research, and then qualitative and quantitative research. So you might be knowing three things basically: pure research, basic research regarding the concepts, and applied research and action research. Applied research regarding the application of these positive principles, pure research. The basic principles emerged in pure research in application in different fields, and action research is we are evaluating the activities, whatever we are doing by using positive psychology principles. So all the three, and we are doing qualitative as well. So all the types of research we are doing in positive psychology regarding these are the methods of psychology we are following. Then coming to the research process. So everybody, all of you might be knowing about the research process. The very first step of research process is finding a problem. This is the first step. How do you get a problem? When you are reading something, you may identify certain knowledge gaps. So you want to fill the gaps. That's why you want to do research. So like that, when Seligman said, this Wong found certain gaps in his research. So he started doing research. For all this, whatever I am saying, there is a research evidence for all this. Research evidence is there for all this. So in the process, the first step is selecting a problem. Then what do? What are the objectives you will find out? Second level. And then you will do review of research. We will do review of research. And after that, you will go for methodology. In the hypothesis, you will build the hypothesis. You will select the sample. You will select the tools. Then you will apply the tools. You will get the results. And then you analyze the results. And then you will produce a research report. These are the basic steps of any research. Here also, in this research also, you will follow all these research steps. All this, I am not again giving details. Problem, choosing a problem with your common sense also, you can choose a problem in positive psychology. Choosing a problem, describing the problem, finding an objectives, doing research review, and then hypothesis, then coming to going for sample, research tools, appropriate research tools, interventions, what you want to do, research tools you have to choose, and then applying the research tools to the sample you have chosen, and getting the results, and then analyzing the results, whether it is qualitative research or quantitative research. So these are the steps in research. You have to follow all the steps which are common to any research in the positive psychology too. So then coming to what are the areas of research in positive psychology? What are the areas of research? So we are talking about positive psychology is about only positive things. So we will talk about positive. Research can be done on positive area is positive experiences. What are the positive experiences? Subjective well-being. This is my experience. Subjective well-being and affective states, positive states, affective states, and individual as well as community, whatever is that. And contentment is one area, happiness, well-being, hope, optimism, hope, and strengths and virtues, and positive institutions, and positive interpersonal dynamics. Interpersonal dynamics. These are some of the areas, all the positive things you can conduct research in positive psychology. All the positive aspects. Like these are the things which are being discussed in positive psychology. Subjective well-being, hope, optimism, mindfulness, and flourishing, and happiness, contentment, and well-being. All these are the positive things. Here, the areas are all positive. In positive psychology, all the areas are positive only. So, what are the methods we can use? Just like psychology, we use observation method. We use case study method. We can use survey method. We can use different group groups also you can take and conduct studies. All the methods which are used in other, you can do experimental method, survey method, observation method, case study method, whatever the methods, whatever we are using in the, whatever methods we are using in psychology can be used in positive psychology too. Okay. So there are certain differences in positive in the Indian and Western perspectives of positive psychology. There are differences. All of you might be knowing about that. Culture plays a major role in psychological well-being because you are in the living in the particular culture. The culture plays a major role in our behavior. Hence, the positive psychology also plays a major focus on culture. That is, there are Western culture, there are certain positive side. This was developed in USA. Seligman is from USA, Pennsylvania University. He is from Canada. This is Western perspective. They focused on Western perspective of positive psychology. Then, what is the Indian perspective of positive psychology? So, because it automatically it totally focused on culture. The positiveness and happiness is focused on culture. The definitions of happiness are also differs from culture to culture. Hence, what is they said in positive psychology? They said three important things: good life. You should have a good life, well-being, and flourishing personality. You have to develop flourishing, good life, and well-being and flourishing. All these are being shaped by our culture only. All these are being shaped by our culture. So when you talk about the Western psychology, there is some difference in Western and positive perspectives of positive psychology. When it comes to positive psychology in Western perspective, so they focus on in India. This is a holistic view, holistic organism. We don't focus on only one area of life. It is a holistic and perspective is Indian view, whereas whatever you want, you focus on the particular issue mainly. That is the Western view. So, Indian view is dharma. Dharma is a basic Indian view of positive psychology, whereas a morals, following the moral code of the nation is their perspective. Similarly, this is India. Western countries are individually focused, whereas Indian Eastern countries, particularly India, is focused on a collective culture, collective development, collective things. So, like that, the culture plays a major role in developing positive psychology. So, we will talk a little bit about Indian positive psychology. Then only you will have a clear idea. Where even though the other concepts like flourishing, optimism, hope, all these are the Western concepts, you should also have an idea about what is meant by positive psychology in what is the, you might be knowing about all our psychology. What we are studying is researched in West only. Till now, what you are studying in your course. Now, at present, India started, it is there since a long time, but India is focusing more on a branch of psychology was developed as Indian psychology. It is a well-developed branch at present, Indian psychology, because as a human behavior is mainly determined by its culture. You cannot take all the cultural aspects of Western to India. Of course, there is, you may not accept this because this is in the globalized world, all the cultures are mingling. But still, we are having our own cultural aspects. in our group. Even though all the culturals are mingling, we are having our own. So hence, you should have some ideas about perspectives of Indian psychology. In Indian psychology, we are having ideas of both pain and pleasure. We are having not the pleasure alone, and we are following Wang to some extent, not Seligman. We are having an idea of both pain and pleasure. And as per Indian, I'm talking about Indian psychology. As per these are the concepts proved in Indian psychology. There are number of books on Indian psychology. So of course, it was not being prescribed for you in your syllabus. Indian psychology is one branch of psychology, which is mainly focused on what are the concepts of India, Indian culture and Indian concept. We follow what we follow. So in this, what is pleasure in Indian psychology? There are three types of pleasures in Indian psychology. One is sensory pleasure, sensory gratification, because this is beautiful. This is beautiful to my eyes. This is pleasurable. The music is very good to my ears. It is pleasurable. Pleasure through senses. Sensory gratification. The taste of particular food is very good. I'm enjoying. It is pleasurable. So sensory gratification is pleasure. This is one type of pleasure we say. Then in Indian psychology, what we say, retrospective pleasure. Retrospective pleasure means we will recollect certain pleasurable event earlier, what happened, and we will enjoy. We will, by recollecting the earlier pleasurable event, and now we are feeling happy. That is called as retrospective pleasure. Then prospective pleasure means I am going to become like that, anticipating future success, future pleasure, anticipating future pleasure. A young girl is anticipating future pleasure after her marriage, and she enjoys. She enjoys. This is prospective pleasure. Prospective. What I can say that a pregnant lady is prospective pleasure of having the child. Prospective pleasure. Then gratification desires. Gratification desires. These are the four types of pleasures usually as per Indian psychology. These are the, we can divide all the pleasures into these four types. Then what is pain in Indian psychology? What is pain? Pain means the first type of pain we say achyatmika, means physical pain and mental pain. Physical as well as mental pain. This is achyatmika. This is one type of pain. We all experience physical pain. Something happened to my body. It is painful to me. Right? Something happened, some situation happened, and I am unhappy. So these are called as Adhyatmika. Then Adibhutika. Adibhautika means pain caused by external events. Pain caused by external events, like yesterday floods. Pain caused by external event. These are called Adi Bhautika. We don't have any control over that. Tsunamis, wars. These are the pain caused by external. Unemployment is a pain caused by external event. Then third time is Adi Daivika. So pain caused by divine, what we call as karma, like that. Pain caused by divine energy, whatever is that, divine energy. So these are the pains. We may get pain about so many types of pain were given in Indian psychology. We are talking about Indian psychology. And then, of course, the goal of Indian psychology is elevating human condition to the optimum. So we have to use all our potential to the maximum. Elevating human condition to the optimum levels of functioning, and to overcome suffering and promote happiness. And no happiness in Indian culture, bliss. We used to say bliss. That is happiness and bliss, you can say that. Blissful condition. So what is the goal of positive psychology? Also utilizing of optimal flourishing. Optimal flourishing is the goal of even positive psychology of West too. Positive psychology, Eastern psychology, Indian psychology, also the goal is same for both Eastern and Western psychology. Goal is using optimal all our abilities, all our potential, and flourishing, optimum flourishing. Optimum flourishing is our goal, and also to overcome all our suffering and reach a state of happiness and bliss. Right? So positive psychology and Indian psychology are sharing the same goal. They are sharing the same goal. Goal is same, but the approaches are different. Okay. Then I will tell you some of the key concepts of Indian psychology. The key concepts of Indian psychology. So without knowing Indian psychology, we cannot understand positive psychology. What are the key concepts of Indian psychology? One is, I will tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. First point is about multi-layered existence of human being. Multi-layered existence of human being. In this, human development takes in multi-layered development of human development in multi-layered way. One is Annamaya Kosha, means regarding the food and other thing. He has given 5 koshas. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha is respiration. Manomaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha is mind. And Vijnanamaya is knowledge. And Anandamaya. These are the 5 koshas given. One is Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. These are the 5 koshas given by Indian psychologists. So we will grow, our development takes place from one level to, these are the different levels. So we will go through this, and final stage we will reach a Anandamaya course. Happiness is the goal. Again, happiness is the goal. Right? Happiness is the goal. And the second concept, which was very much regarding happiness, is we don't say happiness, it is Sthita Prajna. It is Sthita Prajna is another concept. This is a wisdom state, a desirable state of wisdom. Desirable state of wisdom and a blissful state where you don't feel either pain or happiness. If happiness is there, pain should be there. Pain will be there. Hence, this is a Sthita Prajna, is a blissful state. And for flourishing, third point, for flourishing, in positive psychology, they said developing so many strengths and virtues. We focus on dharma. Presence of dharma for the flourishing. But if anybody wants to flourish, he has to follow dharma. And we have so many examples in our Puranas also, Rama, like that we say. If you follow dharma, you will be successful, you will flourish. This is our concept, Indian concept. Even dharma implies in positive psychology as virtues and strength. He has also given virtues. The virtues are dharmas only. virtues and strength. So for universal well-being, we are not focused on ourselves. It is universal well-being. And our goal is prosperity of the world, not our country. Prosperity of the world. And liberation from sorrow. Liberation from sorrow. And reaching moksha. This is our goal. Liberation from suffering and reaching moksha is our goal. So Indian psychology only appears to be difficult for Indians. Because we are used to follow the American psychology all the time. Right. Then, in Indian psychology, we had an inclusive vision. Inclusive vision is very important. So, what do you say? Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Inclusive vision, collective vision. Indian psychology, this is happiness and well-being only. This is all what Seligman said, the happiness and well-being. We are having a inclusive vision, sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. The concept of Vasudaika Kutumba. We say Vasudaika Kutumba. So all these are for the well-being of the society and for happiness of the people. We are using all these are the Indian concepts. I think you would have understood all the concepts which are for the happiness and well-being of people. Happiness and well-being of people in the entire world. Entire world, happiness. So these are the things which our concepts are this. We have to follow dharma, you have to become a sita prajna, you have to flourish, we have to use optimal thing. All these things are being given in Indian psychology too. And other important thing, how do you reach this? So we have given the concepts, okay, good. How do you reach this? There should be some procedure to reach those. Sita prajna state, or Vasudaika Kutumbam state, or Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu, the concept, how to reach. So there are spiritual practices for enhancing well-being. They use certain spiritual practices in India for enhancing well-being. Majority of the times, this is being given in many of the contexts too. The first spiritual practice which is being given is to enhance oneself is yoga. The first thing is yoga. And in the yoga, Patanjali yoga is our ancient. Indian psychologists follow Patanjali yoga. Yoga is not exercise. Patanjali yoga. Regulating our mental function. We are focusing on something in yoga. Means you are regulating our mental function. And he has given Ashtanga Marga, 8 margas he has given. Ashtanga Margas he has given. One Yama means non-violence and moral, non-stealing, all this. Non-violence, non-stealing, these are the Yama. These are the rules for the society. Ethics, like ethics. Yama is like ethics. You have to follow them. This is non-violence. You should not be violent on others. Non-violence, morals, truth, non-stealing. Brahmacharya means it is following only the sexual control and sexual rules of the culture. This is Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya doesn't mean not, it doesn't mean total not marrying. Brahmacharya is following the strict rules of and sexual control is Brahmacharya. Okay. So this is Yama. Then Niyama. You should have some rules, Niyama, practices. Niyama means cleanliness, contentment, a burning desire. So all the motivation lectures used to say, burning desire. Unless you have a burning desire, you cannot attain anything. Burning desire is Niyama. Your Niyama should be, I should achieve it. That a strong desire should be there. Burning desire means a strong desire. And swadhyaya, self-study. You have to read yourself. You have to improve yourself. Self-study. Yama, niyama, asana. Asana is some postures for the body. Third one is asana. These are some postures for body. And pranayama. Pranayama is for regulating of health, for health purpose. Pranayama. Even pranayama is being used by pulmonologists now. They are asking the patients to do pranayama, breathing exercise. They made it another name and they are asking you for improving your lung capacity, you have to use pranayama. Yes, for good health. Pranayama and pratyahara. Pratyahara means internalizing of senses. Internalizing of senses. Pratyahara. And dharma. No, sorry, dharana. Dharana means memory. Dharana. Concentration. And dhyana. Meditation. And finally, eighth thing is samadhi. It's a blissful state, higher concentration. Blissful state and higher concentration levels. So, these are the yoga doesn't mean only doing exercises. People have an idea. I'm doing yoga. You have to follow other things also. Patanjali said, only doing postures won't help you the total development of an individual. Yoga should accompany all the other things too. All 7 things. You should do meditation. You should develop your concentration. You should have a control over your senses. All this you have to develop. That will be used by for the holistic development, for the happiness and for the well-being of the individual. For well-being of the individual, these are given by this Patanjali Yoga. Then coming to the development of virtues, this was given in positive psychology. Yes, given like positive psychology, they are given you should have wisdom, you should have courage, you should have humanity, you should have transcendence. Like that, they are given 6 virtues. This positive psychology people. So, what are the Indian psychology virtues? One is fearlessness, purity of heart, steadiness. In gaining, you should be wise and knowledgeable. Wise and knowledgeable. Straightforwardness. Harmlessness. You should not do harm to anybody. So like that, they have given certain virtues. Absence of anger, peacefulness, absence of crookedness, and developing compassion. Like that, these are the virtues given by Indian psychologists. Similarly, positive psychology also has given a list of virtues and a test was also developed by Cliff for measuring this strength and virtues of virtues given by positive psychology. What they said is, you identify what are your strengths. Positive psychology, we have to identify our strengths. Don't think about your weaknesses. Identify your strengths, focus on your strengths, and use them and develop them. Nobody is having all the strengths. Nobody will have. We are having certain strength. Don't ignore the strength and focus on repairing your weaknesses. Whatever strengths you are having, you focus on them. For that, you have to identify your strengths. What are your core strengths? Suppose if I am having a humanity as my core strength, I have to work on that. I can reach the top. Humanity is my core strength. I am having 2-3 core strengths. And he has developed a test to find out 5 or 6 core strengths of each individual. Among the 5, wherever I have to focus on them, still I have to develop them. Unless you work on, the core strength won't develop. So I'm having these strengths and virtues, and I have to work on them. I have to develop them. Whenever in all interviews they will ask you what are your strengths. You identify your strengths by using this positive psychology test, virtues and strength. Then you work on that. That is what positive psychologists says for developing oneself. Earlier, always I am doing everything better except I cannot communicate well. And I am being worried about this communication. No, I'm not happy about other strengths. So what positive psychologists are telling is, forget about your weaknesses. Do work on your strengths and reach a place. So this is the idea of positive psychologists. Even in so developing virtues and strengths. So in Indian psychology, other thing is also gunas. We are having so many gunas, three gunas: sattva, raja, tamasa gunas. Focus on that. This chapter only is a little bit because it is Indian psychology. This unit, we are not so focused on that. That's why I'm giving it an points, just like points. So what is so you should understand, unless you understand our Indian psychology, which is being developed in our culture, we cannot follow all the. They are superficial. These are the core principles. So gunas. So I'll tell you a small example. I don't say that I am prejudiced towards Indian psychology. And what I'm telling is, in Western psychology, whatever problem you come across, you will focus, work on that, solve that problem. In Indian psychology, what you say, you develop the integrated person to solve all our problems. We don't focus on a single problem. Because I am developed integrated development, which help me to solve any type of problem. So we work on this and they work. This is, I can say that this is like Indian psychology is like homeopathy integrated, and this is like allopathy. Whatever, if you are having a digestive problem, you work on that. If you are having heart and that, independently we will look at them and we will work on that. That is Western psychology. Indian psychology is integrated. Then, like gunas and swabhavas, we are having sattva, raja, tamo gunas. In sattva guna, what you say is in sattva, a discriminating intellect, generous, gentle, duty bounded, and detached. Because Sattva-guna gives us peace of mind. You are detached and working for that. You are detached and at the same time you are working for your virtues. Whereas in Rajoguna, we drive because of the passion. We drive in action by passion. Because many of the students used to tell, psychology is my passion. They work for as a passion. Then it is making us restless. It is making us restless and we are struggling for that. And also you will have more strong likes and dislikes you will develop in Rajoguna. And attached to one of the social roles, whatever role we are doing, we will attach to that. In this process, we will get lot of things in Rajoguna. In Tamoguna is laziness, depressed, lethargic, negligent, indisciplined, totally indisciplined, arrogant, hostile, ignorant, uncertain, and dull. You will find this type of people too. So everybody is having all the three, but the person who is having more personality traits is being called with that. And all of us should try towards Sattva-guna to have happiness. Right? So these are some of the basics of Indian psychology. I think you might have understood. These are the basic contents of positive psychology, Indian psychology. So unless you know, we are also following happiness and well-being is also our goal, just like positive psychology. It is more like that. Whatever the procedures and processes, what are using in Indian psychology is different from present positive psychology. So now we understood what the procedures we use in Indian psychology. Now then we will go to the positive psychology interventions in the. So these are the interventions of Indian psychology. What are the interventions? Following Sattva Guna, following developing all these are the interventions. Okay, we will go to the positive psychology interventions in the last unit. Now we are coming to positive psychology. We are talking about the positive effects and positive effects and positive emotions. Positive effects and positive emotions. So all of you might be knowing about what emotion is. Emotion is an innate for all living beings, innate, and it is a feeling. It is an innate, a feeling with biological changes, associated with so many biological changes. All emotions are associated with biological changes. A feeling associated with biological changes, and the trigger for an emotion changes, differs from age to age, from person to person, but emotions are must. Everybody is having emotion, but triggers for getting an emotion changes from person to person. Okay, so emotions are very important because everybody's, what is the goal of life as per any individual? What is the goal of life? Happiness is the goal of life. As per positive psychology, also happiness and well-being is the goal of life. And every individual, why you are doing this? To have a future happiness. Why you are struggling for this? Future happiness of writing the examination well. That is the future happiness. Sometimes we work for the present. Why I am drinking water? To have the present happiness of, because my mouth is becoming dry, so I am drinking water. This is the present happiness. That is the future. Whatever work you are doing, you will do it for present happiness or future happiness. Happiness is goal. At the same time, we want the process to be happy. People used to say, I want to read happily. I want to work happily because the work environment is happy. I want the process to be happy. The goal is happiness and the base is happiness, and we want the process to be happiness. So happiness is the goal of our life. Happiness is the goal of our life. So emotions are innate, I said. If you suppress your emotions, it is feeling associated with biological changes, I told. Hence, if you suppress your negative emotions, it has an impact on your health. If you express all your emotions, what happens? You will have social problems. If you suppress, you have a physical problem. If you express, you had a social problems. What to do with these emotions? You have to learn to manage emotions. Express it appropriately at appropriate situation, in an appropriate way, in an appropriate intensity. That is management. Right? So these are the important things about life. Emotional health, what you say. Because health is related to our emotions. Right? So this is about the importance of emotions. So that's why in positive psychology also, the positive psychology goal is an emotion. That is happiness. Goal is a happiness. Happiness and well-being, the goal of positive psychology. So there are two types of emotions you will come across. But the emotion is normal, but the expression of emotion changes from culture to culture, from age to age. When I am angry, I express my anger. When I am young, my expression of anger is different. from when I am old. When the situations also differs and my expression also differs. So expression of anger differs, but anger is innate and common to all. So you have to learn to manage your emotions. So what you are dealing, but now in positive psychology, all of us know there are two types of emotions. What are the two types of emotion? Positive emotions and negative emotions. In all psychology, we are focusing. Emotions means in other psychology, emotions means negative only. My anger, my anxiety, anger, fear, all these are jealous, all these are being called as emotion, and most of the research was conducted on negative emotions. So whenever I say emotion, it is negative only. When I say that emotion is having my health, it is only negative emotion. But the positive psychology wants to focus on positive emotions, positive effects. So it is also found that the emotion, I said what is emotion is a feeling associated with biological changes. When there are positive emotions, the biological changes are also supporting my health, which are coming for, which are being observed for positive emotions. So the biological changes which are occurring to my emotions, positive emotions are helping my health. So positive emotions elicit more, and there are so many studies were conducted. The impact of positive emotions, the impact of number of studies where research was conducted. I'm not going into the each person's research. Research is showed that positive emotions enhances our health. Number one. Number two, positive emotions helps our develop uh, elicit more cognitive responses. Our cognition also improves. Positive emotions broadens our responses, ideas, and actions. Then positive emotions helps to build our resources. When you are calm, you can build our resources. Otherwise, you don't find anybody to help us. Any thing. But positive emotions help build resources. Positive emotions can undo the effect of negative emotions. They can undo the effect of negative emotions. And the research on health showed that positive emotions develops immunity system, affects coping and adaptive responses, and it increases our positive outlook. We develop proactive personalities, proactive behaviors. What is? There are two terms: proactive behaviors and responsive, proactive personalities and responsive personalities. When a crisis occurred, proactive people tries to find out the positive things in that and try with a vision and try to utilize it. Reactive people, what do they say? They will always they react to the situation. Whereas proactive people, you see an example of COVID. Proactive people, they used the time when they are kept in homes for so many days. They used the time for developing themselves. They rebuilding their crafts, habits, social relations, not social relationships through phone and all the things. Reactive people, what do they say? They became violent. Domestic violence increased. They developed so many disorders. They reacted to the situation. This proactive people, visionary. So this proactivity is being increased by positive emotions. Proactivity is being increased by positive emotions. And we will also, because of positive emotions, a sense of togetherness we will develop. We'll take support from family and friends. It helps our mental muscle to build. We will build our mental muscle with positive emotions. So positive emotions also enhances our EI, emotional intelligence. So all these are the positive impacts of emotions. So how do you develop this? How do you develop? So we have given all the benefits of positive emotions. I have given all the benefits, more than 10. Everywhere, positive emotions are very helpful for the health, for psychological development, and also for social life. Everything positive emotions are. How to develop these positive emotions? This is the next question. So, if you practice, positive emotion should be practiced and it should be nurtured and developed even during schools. When you help somebody, it gives a it gives a positive emotion if I help somebody. So suppose in a school, if the helping others is being nurtured, then people used to develop positive emotions. If the students who helped others, names are written on the board, people will recognize them. These are the people who helped others, who saved others, who helped others, who has done some community activity for others. If you do anything to others, it gives more happiness. Is it to others or to me? For me, more happiness than others. There's more happiness all through. The government has done a lot of things to the public during this. What is the floods? Who is more satisfied? Only the government is more satisfied than the public. Really, who is the giver will have a lot of satisfaction than the person who receives. The mother will have more satisfaction than the child. Who receives? Child receives. Mother gives. Always the giver used to have more positive emotion. So we are helping others only for developing contentment and satisfaction of you. Whether the person remembers or not, that's a different story. Right? So, hence, this is emotional positive storytelling will also helps us to have more positive emotions. So, developing positive skills through socialization process. There are number of programs are designed for schools to develop positive emotions, like CASL programs. CASL programs means collaborative, academic, social, and emotional learning in schools. This is a program which has given lot of tips and lot of procedures to develop positive emotions in schools. Positive emotions in school. Like that, there are ruler techniques for developing positive emotions. Ruler techniques. Recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, and regulating emotions. Ruler program. You have to recognize the emotion first and then understand it, then label it, then express it, and then regulate the emotion. So there are under this, there are so many procedures are there. I'm not giving that. So there are like this. These are the many important things which are used for developing positive emotions. So I told you about what is positive, what is emotion, what are positive emotions, what are the benefits of positive emotion, how to develop positive emotion. Now we are coming to the positive psychology concept of happiness. Seligman, we are going to Seligman. Seligman said Positive emotions, positive, effective. What he said? Effective means emotions only. Effective state means emotional state, which gives good life. Which good life means focusing on our strengths, not focusing on our weaknesses. Focusing our strengths is a good life. Okay? It gives a pleasant life when you focus on emotions, positive emotions. It gives a meaningful life. What is meaningful life? If you contribute to community. Usually, they used to give lifespan is more for the people who are working for community than community working for only for themselves. People who are working for community used to have long life because they are having so many positive emotions. They are not work, they are working for others. So Seligman said there are three lives are important for developing. Good life you should have. You should focus on our strengths, own strengths, and you should have a pleasant life, develop positive emotions, meaningful life, contribute to community. If you do all these three things, you will have happiness. You will have happiness. Then so he also said for developing positive emotions, he used certain models of emotion. The PERMA model is the important model used, developed and practiced by Seligman. PERMA, PERMA model. PERMA, PERMA is the key for happiness. It's a very popular model, PERMA model. P stands for positive emotion. If you inculcate all these three in your life, you will be more happy and well-being will increase. P stands for positive emotions. E stands for engagement. You have to engage. You should not sit leisure time. No, you have to engage yourself. Engage in your habits or engage in some work or engage in some activity. You have to engage in some activity. And R stands for relationships. If you have good relationships with the family, with yourself first, good relation with myself and with family and with society and at workplace. Relationships make you happy. And M stands for meaningful life and contributing to some community. Meaningful. There should be some meaning in my life. I am working for my children is a meaningful thing. I am working for the community. Meaningful thing. Others always gives a lot of satisfaction, meaning to our lives. That's why the parents are very happy because they are spending all the time for the sake of their children. That is a meaningful way for the betterment of the children. Meaningful life and also, and A stands for achievement. Achievement is a big motivator. Achievement, PERMA. For that, you have to do so many activities for developing positive emotion, for engaging yourself, for developing relationships. You can find out where you are failing and which is lacking your happiness. You may be having some, you may not be having some. So address that, identify that, address that, you can become happy for that. So, um, usually usually our happiness, these are the what I can do. There are external factors also affect my happiness. External, it is only myself, personal factors, and till now we discussed it. What about the external factors? External factors like our culture. Sometimes there are certain things, certain cultures, especially some, what I can say, tribal cultures. There are things which pressurize their, which affect their psyche. Cultural taboos and our money, financial condition, and marriage sometimes, gender. So all these are the some of the factors which are important to impact our happiness, and we have to work on them to boost our happiness. Okay. So this is about 2 units, and there are 3 more units. Till now, I have given only in these 2 units. The first unit is the emergence of positive psychology, and also I told you what Indian psychology is, what is the relation between Indian psychology and positive psychology, and the second unit, and what are the concepts of Indian psychology. All this we covered in the first unit. The second unit, we covered about the effect of positive psychology and emotional health. Now, in the third unit, the positive psychology and cognitive health. Shall we take a break for 5 minutes, or shall we continue? You want break, or shall we continue?
We'll take a break.
5 minutes or 10 minutes? When do you reach? When do you come again? It's 12 o'clock now.
10 minutes, ma'am. Is it
10
okay?
minutes break. 10 minutes break. Okay. We'll come at 12:10. 12:10, we
Okay,
will
madam.
reach. We will, okay, 10 minutes, we'll take a break and we will rejoin at 12:10. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes. Now we are going to have the third unit. I'm just giving you the outlines. Again, I'm telling you the first unit we have given about Indian psychology, positive psychology emergent, and characteristics of Indian psychology. And the second unit we covered about the effect, emotional component processing of positive psychology and emotions and its processing. Now, in the third unit, what we are doing is about the positive psychology cognitive processing. Positive psychology cognitive processing. So all of you might be knowing about cognitive processing means cognitions means our thinking, our learning, our memory, our perceptions all together we call them as a cognition processes. So we are working on that cognitive process in the development of positive psychology. So here, right, which is covered by this cognitive aspect is about self. What is your cognition? Cognition means understand. This makes a major impact on our development of positivity, positive approach. So the very first thing is about self. Self means about yourself. So many concepts were given on self. One is regarding self-concept. Self-concept is, I will tell you one after the another. First thing is about self-concept. Self-concept means a concept, means an idea developed by one person regarding himself. How do you develop self-concept regarding, and regarding myself means regarding my abilities, regarding my behavior, regarding my success, regarding my what traits and all the things. What is the idea I developed about myself? How do I develop an idea about myself? So how do I develop my idea about myself is, it is through somebody. If somebody says, then I develop. Oh, if somebody says you are doing well, then I understand that I am doing well. So you develop self-concept only through others in the childhood. Self-concept is being developed regarding our physical appearance. People used to say you are beautiful. Then my self-concept is I am beautiful. So you develop a concept about yourself through somebody, through your parents or through your classmates or through your family members or through social workplace or through somebody. So you develop your self. Usually the process of self-concept will be developed by 12 years. In the by 12 years with the interactions in the family, school and with others, with neighborhood. Later on, some alterations, additions or subtractions of the self-concept only uses to occur. So if people start appreciate, through appreciation only, I develop this. If the people negatively appreciate, then I said I don't have this. Like that. So because that is the period of self-concept development, people should be very careful while making comments on children. Don't make any negative comment on the children. People used to, especially the referred person, that is the teacher. If the teacher make a negative comment on a child, so you are a dull-head boy. It has an impact on his self-concept. If you say you are an aggressive boy, you are a troublemaker, like that, teachers used to make certain nicknames or comments on children. Negative. If they put a negative thing, it has an impact on their self-concept. They try to avoid the class or they try to neglect the subject, whatever is that. So teachers should be, not with any intention they used to make. It happens like that. So teachers and parents should be very, very careful while making negative comments on children. You can appreciate their strength, but especially regarding the complexion. You are a what I can say, the dark complexioned girl or dark complexioned boy. For physics, they are not at all responsible. Even for certain of the abilities, they are not responsible. We should not make any, we should accept the child as it is and appreciate. Similarly, the teacher has to accept the child as it is without making any negative comments. So, which has an impact on the development of their self-concept. So, physical features, traits, qualities, all these, what are my goals? How can I make a goal based on my self-concept? I can reach this. I cannot reach this. How do I get that idea? Because of my self-concept. How do I get my self-concept? Because of my interactions with others, my experiences. Right. So based on my self-concept, I will make my motivation and my goals. All these are made depending upon my self-concept. So, the self may be described as a personal self, social self, family, relationship self. So, it is developed through our experiences, interactions with others. Um, these also includes some of the ideas, feelings, attitudes people have about themselves. Every individual is having certain idea about themselves. So that is being that is called as a self-concept. It is being developed through interactions. And there is also one more thing is a real self and ideal self. Real self and ideal self. What I am, as per my concept, is called as a real self concept. What I am, this is the real self concept. What I want to become is an ideal self. What I want to become is a ideal self. So, what I am now, what I want to become. This is the real self, and that is a ideal self. There is also one more thing about self-esteem. All these are related to myself. Self-esteem. All these are developed through my experiences, interactions with others. Self-esteem. Evaluation of oneself. About my values and worth. Self-esteem is I understand myself through self-concept and I evaluate it is called as self-esteem. I can evaluate it as a in a positive way, and I am having the high self-esteem. I may develop high self-esteem if I evaluate it in a positive way. If I evaluate it in a negative way, my self-esteem will be low. Self-esteem will become low. So, based on my evaluation of my own values and my own worth, own abilities, my self-esteem will be high or low. Self-esteem is very, very important for the development of the child. And there is also one more concept which was developed by positive psychologists earlier also. Self-efficacy is another thing. Self-efficacy means I am having abilities. I'm having abilities. My belief about my abilities. If I am having a strong belief that I can do this, strong positive belief about my abilities, I start working. If I doubt my abilities, I don't work. So self-efficacy is the belief about my own worth or abilities, own abilities. So this helps me in my behavior. If I believe that I am having the sufficient abilities, I believe my abilities, I will go forward to do something. If I don't believe my abilities, I don't go forward because I don't have an ability. I don't go for IAS because I believe that my abilities are not sufficient. Not my abilities are not sufficient is not true. The belief is making me not to go for that. The belief that self-efficacy is the belief. So, self-efficacy, you should have the abilities and also you should believe in your abilities. That is important. You should have the abilities. Everybody is having some abilities in different fields, but you should believe in your abilities. That is most important. Unless you believe in your abilities, you don't go forward in your life during that path. Musicians, they should have self-efficacy. They should believe their ability. That's why they will go for a competition. If they don't believe, so many girls used to, I have observed so many girls who can sing very well. They don't go for competition because that may some people who will having more abilities may come, I may not get a prize like that. They don't have self-efficacy. They don't believe their abilities. If I believe my abilities, I will go. Regulation. Self is very important. What I think about myself is important, which makes me to go forward. Self-regulation. Regulating my thoughts. Thoughts is a cognitive process. Emotions and behaviors to lead a positive life. Self-regulation is very important. Regulation is very important because we are living in a society with some rules and regulations. The family is having certain rules, the workplace is having certain rules, and all together the society is also having certain rules. Hence, self-regulation of our thoughts, our emotions and behaviors are very, very important. So we had, and these are the important cognitive processes which are required for positive, for our happiness and well-being. These are the self-system. Self-system, all together we call them as self-system. Self-system includes self-concept, self-esteem, self-concept, self-esteem, efficacy, and self-regulation. Four are important. So other process is, other cognitive process is resilience. Other cognitive process is resilience. Resilience means people, all human beings used to have certain drawbacks as successes and failures. Successes as well as failures. Nobody is 100% having successes and nobody is 100% failure. Everybody is having success as well, failures. Pain as well as happiness. Failure as well as success. So everybody is having. Resilience is a process of coming back to normalcy after a failure. Coming back to normalcy as quickly as possible is called as a resilience. Resilience is coming back to normalcy as quickly as possible after a crisis situation or after a failure, whatever is that. Coming back to normalcy is called resilience. Resilience is a very, very important thing, which is very important nowadays. In the global society, failures are very, very common. We don't know. There are number of challenges, and many of the challenges we will fail. It should not stop our growth or flourishing. We have to come back and suppose if you write civil services, you work so hard and finally the failure occurs. If the persons who is not able to face the failure, they cannot continue. When there is a failure or crisis situation, if you understand the situation cognitively, identify the errors and come back with a double vigor figure is resilience. Double vigor is resilience. So resilience is we can express resilience as a trait. Some people will have a lot of resilience. Especially resilience means You can see, example, I will tell you, resilience as a trait. You can think about politicians. They will have a lot of resilience. They have a number of failures. Then they will also try to come back. As a trait they are having, sometimes resilience is a process and resilience is a skill also. The persons with the resilience skill, they will come up with the challenges of the world. So many experiments earlier was conducted on resilience. And there are now many experiments are also at present being conducted on communities. There are communities, I can say that Japan, after the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it come up. The community has a resilience. There are certain communities, when there is a drawback, they will be like that only. The communities with resilience, they will come back. Right? Individuals. So most of the research on resilience is being done on resilience, and to develop, especially resilience, the failure, they should learn to accept the failure, find the error, and come back to normalcy and try again. So that's why if people are being exposed to sports and they are young enough, they will have an experience of failure. Sports. Sometimes they will win and sometimes they will lose. So they will have an experience of both success as well as failure. So failure is not a new thing for them. Right? All the competitive sports, competitive things in the schools. So that's why we have to encourage them to participate, so that if they fail, there are certain students, if they don't get a prize in one occasion, they don't participate again. In spite of not getting winning, they used to participate. Many students used to participate. So resilience is the thing which should be developed. Some people will have more resilience, that's okay, but this is a resilience can also be learned through some activities. So a universal phenomena, I think most of you might be knowing in all the IT industries, while they are conducting interviews, they are testing the resilience of the employee by conducting how he behaves in a stressful situation. Is he resilient or he will fall down like that? So resilience is one of the important activity, cognitive aspect for positive psychology, positive development. Without resilience, you can't. You should have a positive self-concept, positive self-esteem, self-efficacy, and also resilience. The next thing is about flow. Flow is important, one of the positive cognitive aspect. Cognitive aspect means relating to our thinking or learning also. Flow is it is a state of individual where a person is fully engaged. Fully engaged state is called as flow state. Fully engaged or immersed in the activity. Immersed in the activity means we can say whatever the work they are doing, if they are fully immersed, then you can say it is a flow state. A painter working in painting some design, he is totally engaged in the activity. So like that, flow is an important, whatever the time they spend in that activity, they don't feel stressful in all flow activities, because if you totally involve in an activity, you don't feel bored. Your abilities increase is one thing, and your total involvement makes you more healthy and more happy. More positive emotions will come. Suppose I'll tell you one small example, you can understand flow behavior. Suppose if you are doing a work in an office with your full enthusiasm and all the thing, you may not even find the time it has become 5 or 6 or 7. If you involve in the work and doing it positively, If you don't involve, if you don't involve in the work, and then it feels it is boring. Suppose if you involve in the class all through, you don't feel it is 2 hours. You don't involve, time appears to be big. So involvement is flow. This flow helps you is total concentration, which helps you to enhance your attitude, and it is internally rewarding. It is internally rewarding. I listened, I have attended the class all through. It is positively regarding. After the class, you feel it is okay. I understood. I have attended all the class. This is whatever work with involvement. If you do that, the painter, after making a good paint, he is in spite of others, he himself will get rewarded, like a sculpture, whatever is that. So the internal rewarding is there, and usually in creative fields, sports, and workplaces, the flow is very much important. It is a cognitive aspect which helps for positive psychology, and then which helps for positive development of the individual. Then there are also so many scales are developed to assess all these activities, like flow also, to measure flow. What is the level of flow in you? That is also, there is also one scale which is being used. This is another cognitive aspect is uh, right. I'll tell you one more. Cognitive flow and mindfulness, and hope is another cognitive activity. Hope and optimism, these are the two important things. There is difference between hope and hope. Create hope. You might be knowing about in suicide prevention activity, World Suicide Prevention Activity, they have started with this slogan, create hope among people. If people are hopeful, they don't commit suicide. So hope is a positive thing, which is to be, how do you develop hope in other person? What is hope? Hope is setting goals and working, following certain steps and reaching the goals. It is a positive thought process. Hope is setting one goal, developing the processes, steps, and reaching the goal. So this is a positive thought pattern. Hope is a positive thought process pattern. If the people are hopeful, yes, I can set a goal and I can reach, then they don't commit suicide. So create hope. If the people are depressed or they are about to commit suicide, then we have to create hope. How do you create hope? First make them comfortable, make them relax them, and then give them a, what do you want? Set your goal and what are the steps which are needed to reach your goal. Make stepwise presentation and ask them to go to execute your steps and reach the goal. So by that we can avoid suicides. That's why the World Health Organization has given a slogan, create hope and avoid suicides. Create hope among the people and avoid suicides. So hope well helps us to adapt to the difficulties well. So in hope, they don't just wish to have something good. They will work for that. They will set goal and they will go reach for that. They don't just wish. So in hopeful people, they set goals and they try to reach the goal. So here, hope has three components. One is willpower. Hope has willpower, the ability to set goals. Is willpower to abilities to set goals. In spite of so many failures, people are hopeful. So there is a will and they will set ability to set goals. And way power, this is setting goal is one thing. Way power means finding ways to meet the goal. finding ways to meet the goal, that is way power, and follow through. Right? The flexibility and know to see to reach the goal through. They reach the goal through. So this is about hope. Hope helps. Hope is one of the cognitive process which help for happiness and for the well-being of the people. For the well-being, cognitive aspect which helps for the well-being of the people. And other thing is optimism. Optimism is uh, optimism is not action. It is a way of thinking about life. The future will be good. I don't do anything, but just I will think, yes, definitely the future will be good. If optimism and hope are together, then I can reach the goal. Only there are people who think that the future will be good. Uh, Always, you should not be like this always. The future will be. Optimism is expecting, it is a way of thinking about life. It is expecting a perfect outcome for every situation. And I think that things will work reasonably well. And sometimes I think even in troubles, I feel that life is good. In spite of troubles, there are people who are having more troubles than me, so life is good. And there is almost always a way to get the job done. We'll find out some job like that. So the hope and optimism are complementary things. They are complementary. Hence, we need hope and optimistic frame of mind. Optimistic frame of mind. So, other cognitive activity is mindfulness. Mindfulness. Many, what I can say that misconceptions about mindfulness. Mindfulness is a conscious state. It's a conscious state that comes through paying attention. That comes through by paying attention on purpose, present moment, non-judgmentally to the flow experience. Moment by moment is mindfulness. So there are so many exercises of mindfulness. In the mindfulness, it is a flow experience. Every moment you have to pay attention. All the details. That's why people used to say some exercises while eating. Use all your senses. While eating, you have to use all your senses. So you have to use the taste, hardness of the thing, what you are eating, what is the texture of the thing, what is the smell of the thing. All these five senses, use all five senses while eating means mindfully you are eating. You don't know what you are eating, but you are focusing on something and you will eat most of the time. Mindful eating, whatever you are doing, do it mindfully. Means paying attention to all the details of the work we are doing. One way it is flow. It is one thing of flow experience, moment by moment. Every moment consciously you have to pay. That is called as a mindfulness. Mindfulness is very, very important. In mindfulness, biological changes in mind occurs because you are in a biological changes occurs. It is proved by MRIs. Biological changes in the brain occurs and personal psychological changes occurs. So our cognitive function increases. Cognitive function means abilities. Cognitive abilities increases. It also helps for emotional well-being. and social well-being. So these are the mindfulness is also one of the cognitive intervention what we use for the development of positive states of mind. Mindfulness. So this mindfulness exercises, so many institutes are being focusing on this mindfulness because understanding the impact of this mindfulness. So there are also tests how mindful you are to measure your mindfulness. There are assessment tests are available. And based on this mindfulness concept, number of psychological therapies are also being developed. One is dialectic behavioristic therapy based on mindfulness. Dialectic behavioral therapy and ACT. ACT means what is that? Acceptance and commitment therapy. Acceptance and commitment therapy. ACT, which is very popular, which has become very popular nowadays. Acceptance and commitment therapy. Only accepting doesn't help us unless you are committed to come out of that. Most of the time, accepting the situation, most of you will do because there is no other way. We will accept the things, whatever comes in our life. That's good. But what of the next step? You should be committed to come out of that and grow. That is the therapy. You should be committed to come out of accepting the present situation and committing yourself to come out of the present problem and reach the goal what you are expecting, positive goal, whatever you are expecting. Accepting, there you say, for stress coping techniques, most of you people accept the thing and they will undergo the stress, which has an impact on their health later. Because people, others think that she is such a nice lady, she is accepting everything, whatever is happening. Later on, it has an impact on her, on their physical and mental health too. Physical health and mental health too. Then this is about mindfulness. And these are the things what you have tried. Self-systems, resilience, self-systems, resilience, and optimism, hope, optimism, mindfulness. These are the things which are being used as cognitive processes for developing positive inputs, positive and well-being, for the well-being. These are important. These play a major role. Hence, these are being used as interventions too in a positive psychology. Then coming to the fourth unit is applications of these aspects. We had emotional aspect, positive emotions. How do you develop positive emotions? We had two concepts we are clear now. Emotional concept as well as cognitive concept. Now we are using these two concepts in a different settings. First setting is school setting. So, in school settings, what our main idea of schooling is to develop the integrated development of the child, physical, psychological, and social and spiritual development of the child is the goal of schooling. Goal of schooling. So, for this, what are the how you can use the positive psychology principles in your schooling? As you know, we have to use emotional concepts. What is the emotional concept? Caring, respecting, and respecting the diverse children will be. You will find different children in the school. So you have to respect the diversity. We have to trust is very important for positive growth. Care, trust, respect the diversity, and plans to motivate them. This is important. Plans to motivate them and set goals and inculcate hope. Contribute to community hope. Contribute. For that, what you have to do is for developing, there are number of programs to be organized in schools. First, in what we studied in the emotional positive psychology and emotional thing, we studied about PERMA model. the sperma model to be inculcated in schools to develop positive emotions. To develop positive emotions and a meaning in their lives, which is rewarding. So, whatever positive emotions, how do the people develop any character? If they are being reinforced or rewarded, they continue to follow the develop the character. If they are punished at school level, early level, if one of the activity is being promoted or reinforced or rewarded, I want to do it again and again. If it is being punished, I stop doing that. Through rewarding punishment and also through positive emotions, caring. So I care. I'll give a pat. I'll reward it by giving a pat. Right? So those are the activities which will do, which we will promote to do that. So in this, that's why they used many positive programs. Positive programs in the schools to develop positive emotions and hope and flow behaviors. Whatever we studied, cognitive behaviors as well as emotional behaviors, we have to develop certain programs. There are number of programs are given in your textbook. I am not going to that. In schools, mainly the care, no judgmental comment by the teacher. And we have to respect the diversity. Some children will be dark, some children will be lean, some children, each child is with different traits. Each child is unique. Each child is unique with his strengths as well as weaknesses. So the teacher has to respect them, care them non-judgmentally, and develop positive emotions and positive cognitive process through different exercises. So this is positive programs in practice. There are a number of positive programs are there for the develop in schools. Now they are using number of programs as the government is promoting so many programs, and the schools themselves are developing their own programs also to develop some international schools are developing their own program to develop positivity among students. People are thinking negativity will never help in growth. Only the positivity helps. Even though the negative situations occurs, you have to, I told you about resilience. You have to try to come out of that and do the positive things. So for health and for wellness. Then similarly, this is about schools. Next, coming to the positive parenting. This is important for a child. Home is as important as school. Many more important than school. So parenting is also what is positive parenting? Is parenting is not a easy job like earlier giving food and giving clothes and giving money. It is still more because we are the children. We are living in a world with a lot of distractions, lot of changes, cultural changes, distractions all around, attractions all around, and so parenting is not that much casual thing. You have to do parenting in a mindful parenting is needed. Mindful parenting. That is positive psychology, one of the concept of positive psychology. Mindful, you have to check. It doesn't mean not supervising like a watchdog. No, not that. Not watchdog activity. But you should be mindful parenting. So you should be most of the time what the parents do is they compare the child with other children. They judge the children like that. So these things, comparison and judgment will never help. Accept the child as this, as he is. You have to promote their positive strengths. Identify their virtues, identify their strengths. Identification is very important. Understand the child. How to understand the child, you have to do in positive parenting. Just be mindful with that. Be mindful and non-judgmental acceptance. This is the most important factor which you have to keep it always in your mind. You should never compare, and it should be non-judgmental, loving. Positive disciplining is needed. What is positive disciplining means? Where you should be firm, you should be loving, you should be kind, and at the same time, and the behavior should always be consistent behavior. This is the most important area which you have to focus on. The behavior should be always consistent. That is one thing. And the other thing is, your behavior should be, you should be firm in certain aspects and understand the child age and their natural activities. You have to accept their natural activities, because at the early childhood there are certain activities which are very natural. So most of the parents are not able to accept those activities, which has an impact on their child. You have to accept the child with their normal developmental activities. So early childhood, the early childhood and late childhood play, and playing is their normal aspect. We have to accept that. We have to accept that. Don't complain that children are playing. Accept the natural behaviors and make some maintaining management you have to do, but you should not deny the natural behaviors. That's important. You should be firm in certain activities and make a pleasant atmosphere in the home. Pleasant atmosphere, and associate yourself with a child. Associate yourself with a child. So you have to understand, if you make a pleasant atmosphere, always. So most of the parents, because of their anxiety or because of their whatever is that anxiety, or because of their what I can say, that busy schedules, they may not be useful, and office emotions and all this will be reflected on children. So be mindful. Don't reflect your office emotions or other things on children. This is important. And the second thing is, you should be mindful parenting is very much important. Self-regulation of the parent and child. Self-regulation of the parent is very important in parenting, and emotional awareness of the child. Child's emotional awareness. You should be aware of the emotions of the child. You should understand the child, and you have to listen whatever they say with full attention. So that's why I told you in the beginning itself, it should be a mindful parenting. It should be a mindful parenting, and compassion for the self as well as for the child. Both are needed in parenting. So this is how positive psychology principles to be used. You have to do positive disciplining is needed. Positive disciplining, no punishment. It is firmness, kindness and loveness. You are firm, but you are kind and loving. And positive disciplining and understanding the emotional state of the child, and not reflecting all your stressors and on the child, and also giving a pleasant atmosphere to the child, and also compassion for self and the child. So these are the important positive things, which positive principles to be. That's why I told you parenting should be mindful. Parent should be not providing resources. Parent should be identify their strengths, identify their virtue, and strengthen them. Strengthen them. So this is about positive parenting. And then coming to the positive aspects, the positive psychology aspects to application in family, in relations and family. How do you apply the positive psychology principles in a relation? How do you relate yourself with others? How do you get strong relationships? So the very first character for a strong relationship, think about your friend or somebody. You should have trust. Without trust, there would not be any relationship. Whether it is most of the family relations also, between the couple relations also, trust is the major important input. Trust and trust with the person. And if you trust the person, you feel secure with the person, whoever is that. You feel secure with the, you are having a good friend, you trust her, then you feel secure with her. So you feel safe with the person, and you remain for security. You remain for the security also, you go with them. And trust is very important, and caring is important. Caring. The picture dialogue is, I don't care. If you don't care, nobody will care you. You have to care first, then only the other person will care you. If you don't care, nobody will care. So caring is very important, and be empathetic. Be empathetic. And intimacy is important. Physical intimacy as well as emotional intimacy. The people who are nearby, intimate, people will have more relationships. Intimate. The person who is always with you will have more relationship, intimacy. That's why in colleges and what is the love affairs is because of the intimacy. What's happening is because of the intimacy. Intimacy is one of the factors which develops relationships. Intimacy, and along with that, commitment should also be there. Intimacy, commitment. So, how do you develop? Means developing proximity is very important. Proximity. So why in most of there is research is telling that in the present generation, why marriages are failing means they are living in different places because of work or whatever is that. The proximity is not there. Proximity between them is because they are staying away from the whatever is the reason. And uh, because the lack of proximity is one of the reasons, and the sharing of work is another thing. Lack of proximity is also. So, and when do you feel I am attached to the other persons and relations means the absence of the person should create anxiety to them. If your child is not here, you feel anxious. That means that is very important. And you should love it. Love is the basic trait of human relations. Love is very, very important. The love doesn't mean always the romantic love. Romantic love is one type of love. What are the main characters of how can you say that you are loving somebody? Mean one is because of the intimacy, passion, commitment, and responsibility. And you will accept the person as he is. You will accept the person. We will, all mothers and parents accept their children as they are. That is because of love. And they are committed. They are responsible. They are responsible. And they'll have a passion towards the particular person. So this is love. So romantic love is, you can say that is also one more thing added. In romantic love, the romance is also added along with all these four. Then it will become a true love. Otherwise, it is infatuation only. Otherwise, it is only infatuation. So it is only intimacy, it is infatuation. Okay. So love is important. You can make any changes by showing love in parenting towards your child. You can make love is a great weapon through by love. You can do any wonders, you can bring any changes in any persons. So this is I used to tell in most of these the basic what I can say that's a weapon woman is having is basically she is more loving than male. This is a biologically thing. So this is a great weapon. Why you feel you are weak? You are having emotionally strong weapons, very strong weapons, which you are not at all using. which because of your emotion, you are not at all using those weapons. So you can win over anybody through love. Anybody through love. What are the is intimacy, compassion, empathy, understanding, and also commitment towards the person. Commitment towards the person. So we have to apply this positive psychology concepts also in close relationship. You can make a sound home relationship at home. So you have to start the emotional bank account. You have to start a not financial, emotional bank account. So being, so you should be mindful of each other. So emotional bank account. So some of the families are very talk about stressors. You talk, open up and talk about stressors. Understanding the other's problems. Physical gestures of affection. Physical gestures of affection is also very important in close relationship. And being mindful of each other's needs. If you fulfill our need, empathy is that only. Empathy is understanding the needs of other person and fulfilling. That is called empathy. They don't ask you. When a person who came in a hot summer to your home, he need not ask for water. You will offer water. This is empathy. Offering, fulfilling their needs without they asking for that. They don't mention, they don't ask you, but you will fulfill their needs. Then only the attachment and relationships enhances. Not the water, always. Fulfill their needs. Fulfill their needs. Yeah. Then instilling hope in everybody in the family. The family relations will be instilling. Sometimes the failure too occurs. You have to instill hope in the family. So this is also another area where the family relations will be better if you apply these positive things in the family. One is love, empathy. Empathy means understanding the needs of other person and fulfill their needs. And physical proximity is another thing. And instilling hope. Failures do occur to all the members of the family. When they are in a down, you have to make them up through instilling hope. What do you do in hope? You will set a goal. You will try to make him to set a goal and help them to understand the reasons for the failure and then addressing them. So these are the positive psychology tips we can use. Being a mindful in the family. Don't expect that because this is a family, this is the responsibility of the people. Don't expect that. Be mindful. Be mindful in each activity. Be mindful in parenting. Be mindful in developing strong families. Building strong families is also very important. In this also, building strong families is the need of the hour. For this also, you should have all these positive emotions and positive cognitions are very important. Then coming to the concept of aging. Aging. Even in aging, we have to use this positive psychology concepts. So understanding cognitive aspects. This is one of the acceptance therapy, like that. This is acceptance, that this is another stage of life. Every stage we have passed on, this is another stage of life. So there are so many theories developed on what is successful aging. Successful aging theories are there, where so with optimism is important here also. This is one of the positive psychology approach. Optimism and hope. And we should be being active. Being active is one important thing. Here also, because this is the last stage of life, we have to learn to accept that death. Accept death. Accepting death is also very important. We accepting death, nothing is, we don't afraid of. you will become fearless, as one of the concepts given in our Indian psychology concepts. Fearless. You accept the death. And productive aging. Do something, whatever you can do. Productive aging, accepting death, accepting the biological condition on which you don't have any control. And then developing positive emotions. Whatever is the health condition, you can develop positive emotions. If you are mindful of developing positive emotions. And then spiritual engagement. Engagement. Karma model again also occurs in aging also. You have to develop positive emotions. You have to engage in a positive. Think always about negative things. Mostly elderly people start thinking about nobody is with me, nobody is helping, nobody is showing attention, nobody is respecting, nobody. All these are the negative things, which makes them more stressful. And instead of that, you understand children and you understand and be positive. Be positive. Then you will have a successful aging. Your health will be more better if you are positive in your nature. Then coming to the different aspects are being covered. Positivity at workplace. This is very important. All the areas of life were covered by this paper. Positive, positive psychology at workplace. There are scales to measure your positivity in workplace. For all these, there are assessment scales. For optimism, for hope, for mindfulness, for flow, all these, there are assessment scales. So, what you have to do, all the principles of positive psychology should be applied at workplace too. You should have flow. Means you should involve in the work, which is self-rewarding. You involve in work instead of avoiding the work. Why don't you involve in the work? Most of the people, they will go roam around. Why? Because they might not be knowing the knowledge of the particular work. That's why our procrastination, maybe their personality, or sometimes because they are, if I am not efficient in my work, I don't feel like doing that. I feel it as a burden. Hence, you should be well versed with the whatever work you are doing. Then you involve yourself. It should be flow behavior is important at workplace. And developing relationships with the flow, absorption, work enjoyment. You will be rewarding and make the work meaningful. Don't do it without understanding the work. Make the work meaningful and so you feel yourself well-being if you are having good personal relationship with the colleagues and you follow the rules of the organization. There are certain rules you have to follow. So whether you like it or not, those are the other important thing. The rules are given by the organization. You have to follow it. Don't put your brain in that. Rules. Rules are mandatory. You have to follow it. You have to engage in the work. You have to make good interpersonal relations and be mindful and be flow behavior. It will be self-rewarding. Okay. So then I will go to the last block. Fifth block, I will complete it in 15 minutes. So positive psychology interventions. I think you might be knowing the word intervention. Intervention is an activity which is used to bring about some change in behavior. Intervention is an activity. That activity is called as intervention. Activity or what are the procedures or processes which we are using to bring about changes is called as intervention in psychology. So, here stress management is one of the basic interventions we use. So, you might be knowing about what stress is. Stress has become an inevitable part of our life. Nobody is without stress. What is stress then? Stress is the individual's evaluation of the environmental situation. Environmental situation never give us stress. If you evaluate it as dangerous, then only it provides stress. Your evaluation is responsible for your stress, not the event, not the thing, not the people. So if you evaluate the environmental situation as dangerous or as threatening or as boring, whatever evaluation you make, it will become stressful. If I evaluate my workplace work as boring, then it creates me. Not the work is stressful. My evaluation make me stressful. So in stress, not the activity, your evaluation is important. So who can manage your stress? If you change your evaluation, then you can avoid, you can handle stress. You might be knowing that you have studied in somewhere. Stress has a lot of impact. Stress is a continuous process because of the rapid changes occurring in the society, and we don't have an opportunity to understand stress. You're getting a lot of problems. You cannot avoid stress. You cannot avoid stress, but you have to manage the stress. The factors which are creating stress are called as stressors. Education is a stressor. Employment is another stressor. Marriage is another stressor. Some people think that this is a stressor, I don't want to, they are avoiding. They are avoiding marriage because they feel they evaluate it as a stressor. So there are groups, no marriage groups are there. More than 500 members are there in that no marriage groups in West. Why they said it is no marriage? They evaluate marriage as a big stressor. If you evaluate a thing stressor, then the first way is you can avoid it. Because it is a marriage, you can avoid and you can manage yourself. Second is you can alter. Sometimes you can alter. You can change and you can reduce stress. This is what I'm telling about stress management. One is 1A, avoid and manage your stress. And second thing is alter and manage your stress. Because the particular person is creating stress. Particular thing is creating stress. Sometimes you can alter and manage your stress. If possible, I am telling you. Third, you have to accept this. Most of the time what we do is, we will accept the stressor. We don't avoid, there is no chance to avoid. If the persons in the family are creating stress, you cannot avoid or you cannot alter. You cannot alter, you have to accept them. Accepting the stress, we should manage it by not having, after accepting, you have to build resistances. Because this won't have an impact on our health. What I said, 4 levels you have to maintain resistances. At physical level, by doing some exercise, which will reduce the impact of stress on my body. Physical level, by doing some exercise. At a psychological level, with my reasoning and logic and all the thing, whatever is happened is happened. That reduces psychologically, that reduces and accepts the situation. And third, by taking social support. By sharing my stressor with somebody, or reducing stress by sharing my work. Suppose heavy work is my stressor. I can reduce it by sharing with somebody. Taking social support, I can reduce stress. And last thing is, with my spirituality, I can reduce stress. These are the resistances I can build. 3A's and B. B is building resistances. Again, C, just change your perception and reduce your stress. Means your evaluation, change your evaluation and reduce your stress. 3A's, B and C, your stress in a positive way. And stress managing techniques are, battery is going low also. Another stress managing techniques are in positive psychology, they are expressing gratitude, positive visualization, and EQ. EQ means emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence means managing your emotions. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage your emotions. This is emotional intelligence. With coping techniques, using positive coping techniques. And by resilience, you can manage your stress. Then last thing, one more thing I am going to tell. I told you about Patanjali Yoga there. All the yoga techniques are given in Indian psychology, are being followed in positive psychology too. Yoga techniques of, I told you, yama, niyama, pranayama, pratyahara, dharma, all these are some are virtues and some are the emotional components given by positive psychologists. All these are being used as interventions in positive psychology. Stress management is one intervention. Second intervention is about yoga. Yoga, all the Patanjali yoga mainly. And meditation is another thing. Meditation process. What is meditation? Sustaining your attention and sustaining your attention on a word or on breathing. That differs from different procedures. Sustaining your attention on something mindfully. And this is in 1920, Paramahamsa Yoga, and in 1970, Swami Ramananda. They went to US. They have shown these yoga practices. They have in a laboratory hospital, and they found that they accepted many changes occurs in brain waves and heart functioning and skin temperature because of this meditation, and they proved in the psychology laboratory there in 1930. Afterwards, the meditation has become one of the important intervention even in Western countries, because they proved, because of those two, they proved in the laboratory. In the medical laboratory, they proved Paramananda, and otherwise, if you say it is Patanjali Yoga, nobody believes. Unless there is experimentation, these two, they went there and they proved that. So this is about the Paramananda and Swami Ramananda. Both of them proved in a laboratory in the presence of a doctor, and that's why it was being practiced there. Then what is the last thing is about the current trends in positive psychology. What is the where the research is going on positive psychology? So here you have to bring about some of the Indian psychology concepts which are being for collective happiness, not individual happiness. The Western countries are focusing. We are focusing on collective happiness. There are many areas: sustainable well-being, happiness. Lot of research is subjective well-being to group well-being. Lot of things are being done in the research is going on in these areas. So with this, I have given only the outlines of all the units. So with the time given, think you had an overall idea of what positive psychology is. 5 things I have given you about the introduction about, and which includes Indian psychology concepts of positive psychology too. And second, we have given about the emotional state and positive psychology. And third, cognitive aspects of positive psychology. And fourth unit, we have given some of the interventions of positive psychology. What are the interventions? Both emotional as well as cognitive interventions of positive psychology. And then fifth, what is the latest trends in positive psychology? I think if you have any doubts or anything, you can just rise and you can ask. Yeah. There's 10 more minutes for interaction. Whatever you feel, you can interact with me. Right?
మొత్తం 8 మందే ఉన్నట్టున్నారు కదా మేడం.
ఏమో అంతే సార్, అంతే.
సో morning already madam informed about the internship program. So do you have any doubts regarding internship? And all you have to pay the examination fee. Examination link, online link is opened in the IGNOU website. Pay the examination fee for all the papers. 3 theory papers, 4 theory papers, 1 internship and 1 practical. You have to pay the examination fee for all the papers. 15th October is the last date. Assignment submission last date 30th September. Practical record and internship report submission last date October 30th. So your examinations will be in the December first week or second week. Already schedule is available in the IGNOU website. Practical and internship will be in the month of January first or second week. Tentatively. So no doubts.
Excuse me, ma'am, sir. Good
Yeah.
afternoon. I'm sorry I couldn't join in the morning. There was a power cut here and there was no charging for me. ఇంటర్న్షిప్ గురించి ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్తారా అండి?
ఇప్పుడు అవదు, ఇది రికార్డింగ్ చేసాము, ఈ రికార్డింగ్ పంపిస్తాం రేపు.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఎక్కడ చేస్తారు మీరు ఇంటర్న్షిప్? వేర్ యూ వాంట్ టు డూ ఇంటర్న్షిప్?
అసలు ఐడియానే లేదు సార్, అదే ఐ కుడెంట్ ప్లాన్ ఆల్సో. దాని గురించి ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు నో అండ్ ఐ కుడెంట్ జాయిన్ ఇన్ ద మార్నింగ్. ఐ సీ ద రికార్డింగ్ సార్ అండ్ డౌట్స్ అడుగుతాను మళ్ళీ.
ఓకే.
Sir, excuse me, sir. So the internship has to be done in the month of January, right, sir? Or we have to complete it now?
No. Month of January examination, I am telling.
Okay. So we can start doing internship as early as possible.
Yeah, now onwards you can start your internship. You have to attend 240 hours in particular place.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
For reference letter purpose, you have to come to regional center. I will sign and give the letter for internship. So, any other?
Sir, I haven't received books yet. I sent an email 2 weeks back and I did not receive any reply from them. Even I did a follow-up.
Books are posting by Delhi headquarters.
Okay.
So you write to MPDD.
Yes, sir. I did it twice, but did not get it.
Every day you can send one reminder.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you can take the internship Xerox copy.
Okay, sir.
Where are you now?
I'm in Vijayawada only, sir.
Vijayawada.
Yes.
If you come to regional center, give the on loan basis that book, you can take Xerox and give it back to regional.
Okay, sir.
Internship book you can take Xerox, or otherwise PDF is available in the IGNOU course. You can download and take it print.
Okay, sir.
So internship pro forma is there, case study pro forma is there. You can type it in format and make it 10 copies, 10 case studies. You have take separately and all 10 case studies, put it in one spiral binding or bind it. So each case study separately you have to collect. So each case you have to use the separate pro forma. So each one pro forma is there, same pro forma for all the cases, but you have to made it 10 copies. each case separately. So in Vijayawada, most of the people are going to the Manasa Hospital, Dr. Rama Subbareddy Hospital, and some people are going to Government General Hospital. If other than Vijayawada anybody is there, you can choose a psychiatric home or psychiatrist, meet the psychiatrist and take consent of concerned psychiatrist and bring those address and bring the reference letter, whatever format given in the internship. So I will sign on that internship letter and you hand over to the concerned psychiatrist. Okay.
So thank you for that information, sir. For counseling, psychology, also same hospital, sir.
Yes. Clinical and
So,
counseling the same one.
okay. Would you mind repeating, sir? Subba Reddy?
Manasa Psychiatric Home, Dr. Ayodhya,
Okay.
and Dr. Inla's Hospital is there. Dr. Inla Ramasubbareddy.
Krishna.
మేడం ఇంకొకటి కృష్ణదాస్ హాస్పిటల్ ఏదో ఉంది కదా మేడం?
Krishna neurological center.
Neuropsychiatrist.
Krishna.
Pamarthi Krishnadas.
Okay.
Neuropsychiatrist.
వాళ్ళు ఈ కౌన్సిలింగ్ వాళ్ళు కేఎల్ యూనివర్సిటీ కూడా పోవచ్చేమో.
They will not allow them.
They don't allow?
Yeah. So better to go to psychiatric home, so they will get exposed.
Sir, one more doubt, sir. Like, I'm into clinical psychology. Like, can I go into this SRM University if they allow me?
SRM University, you are not permitted because clinical psychology, you have to do case studies from psychiatric home only.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, madam. Thank you for long time for 10 o'clock to 1:35. So almost more than 3.5 hours. So giving good information and lecture to our students. Thank you once again. And again, we'll meet tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Tomorrow at the same time we have counseling psychology.
Right.
And how many are there here, clinical psychology students? Currently in this meeting, clinical psychology, how many are there?
I think 3, sir.
Okay. Tomorrow, Abdul Rafi sir will take the clinical psychology online session. So we have total 11 students. Better to join. If very less number of students are there, we are cancel the classes. So we will not conduct classes also. Minimum 50% attendance is required. So out of 11, at least 5 students should be there. Otherwise, we cancel the sessions. Today we have SRR and CVR Government College face-to-face. Out of 26 students, only 1 student attended for the face-to-face. So I cancelled all the classes for first year. So we are facing a lot of problem to get the counselors taking their time and consuming their time, but people are not coming for the classes. So what do we have to do? We are taking a lot of efforts to conduct the sessions. In Vijayawada, people are not there. Even though we are requesting the concerned professor and they are accepting, for last 15 days, we are struggling to prepare the counseling schedule. Finally, day before yesterday, we finalized. But the thing is, attendance is out of 26. Today class is 1 student attended in face-to-face mode. This is the pathetic situation. So even tomorrow also, again, we have class, counseling psychology separate and clinical psychology separate. So if you attend, will continue, otherwise we cancel the classes. So please prepare and attend the sessions.
Okay, sir.
And 5th and 6th, practical component attendance is compulsory face to face. Okay. Thank you. Gopal garu, క్లోజ్ చేసేద్దాం ఇంకా. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ అనండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ. రికార్డింగ్ స్టాప్ చేసేయండి, క్లోజ్ చేసేయండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.